Climate change is real and it is not a hoax. Hi, my name is Dominic Morales, and today I will be discussing the various causes of climate change, the various effects of climate change, and what we can do to combat climate change. Now, climate change is a topic that I am very passionate about. I have been researching for it. I have been researching it for the past 3 months, and when I say 3 months, I don't mean, you know, 1 or 2 times a month. I mean every weekday for the past 3 months straight. I've been doing my research on climate change. So I believe that I know enough to talk about it, at least when it comes to a college student. I feel like I know a pretty good amount. And from my research, I feel as though it is a topic that everybody should talk about. We should talk about it on campus. We should talk about it even in the news. It should be a topic that is brought up in the news. Now, the more I research it, the more passionate I become personally. At least that's how I feel. And the first point that I want to bring up is, what are the causes of climate change? Now, there are many causes of climate change. However, the main source of climate change is by the burning of fossil fuels. Now, fossil fuels include things such as coal and gasoline. However, I'll be focusing more on the gasoline aspect of it. Now, according to the U.S. Environmental Agency, CO2 emissions have increased by 90% since the 1970s. Now, for those who may not know, CO2 is carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is produced when we burn fossil fuels. Now, to bring back to what I said right now, it has increased by 90% since 1970. That is a lot. That is massive. Now, we release carbon dioxide every day, tons of it, literally. For every gallon of gas that we use, about 24 pounds of carbon dioxide is released into the air. And I don't know about you, but that is a lot of carbon dioxide. Now, overall, CO2 is the leading cause of climate change. However, what are the effects of climate change? Now, that brings us to my second point. A major effect of climate change is wildfires. Now, to bring it back a little bit, climate change causes droughts, and droughts cause plants and trees to dry up. Now, according to an article by Jennifer Weeks, droughts are lasting 47 days longer than in the year 1960. This shows that climate change is causing droughts to last longer, basically. And the longer they last, the more plants and trees are going to dry up. By causing plants and trees to dry up, we're increasing the likelihood that a wildfire can start, which is what we saw with the many fires that are happening right now in California. Now, wildfires produce CO2, which, as I brought up earlier, is what is produced when we burn fossil fuels. Now, CO2 is a pollutant, air pollutant. Now, when trees burn and they throw out black carbon, brown carbon, carbon dioxide, those are air pollutants. And those air pollutants make climate change worse. So it's just one big circle. So you start off with climate change, then you get drought, then the drying of plants and trees, which lead to the burning of those plants and trees, which then in return lead to more climate change. It's just one endless circle of destruction. Now, this brings me to the point, what can we do to prevent climate change or combat it? And one way that would be effective in combating climate change is by the use of electric cars. Now, opposed to electric cars, opposed to gas cars, electric cars do not emit CO2, which is a major bonus. However, one could argue that what about the plants that make these cars? Now, the plants that make these cars are hopefully going to be run on renewable energy, or energy that is not going to be of one-time use, such as coal. Now, another thing that has recently been brought up in September of 2020 is the governor of California has banned the sale of gas cars by the year 2035, and this is huge. That means you cannot no longer go to the dealer. I mean, at least in 2035, you will no longer be able to go to the dealer and buy a gas car. You will only be able to buy either cars run by hydrogen gas or electric cars. And that is just huge. However, this may not be soon enough, because scientists have predicted that we only have 7 years to do something about climate change before it becomes irreversible. Now, overall, the use of electric cars would cut the amount of CO2 in the air dramatically. Now, to conclude my speech, I want to review what I said in the beginning. Now, climate change is real and has caused a lot of damage to our environment. However, there are many ways that we can combat it, such as the use of electric cars. This will conclude my speech, and I now encourage you to go do your research and do whatever you can to help us combat this climate change before it's too late. Thank you.